WESH 2 Sports is sponsored by Mullinax Ford, Florida's largest Ford retailer. For upfront pricing and no dealer fees, shop Mullinax, where car buying is simple, easy, fun.
The drive to the 305. Hello, everybody. I'm Darren Stoltzfus. We'll hear from Zach Maskovich in just a bit. Kristen Lago out on the Space Coast tonight. Tonight, the state semifinals. Win, and you're on to the state championships next week in Miami. It was a brisk night all across Central Florida. Just another reminder how far removed we are from those sweat-soaked days back in August when this all began. It's been a long journey. Big-time battle in the biggest classification in the Sunshine State, 7A football. Lake Mary hosting Dr. Phillips in a rematch of a Week 5 game when the Panthers won by 5 on their home turf. The Rams coming off their best outing of the season a week ago. That Seminole, but yeah, 12-1 Panthers trying to put the finishing touches on what has been a dominant season so far. We will start right here with the handshake. Somebody gets to play for a state championship next week. Who would it be? Rams on the board first. Noah Grubbs calling his own number in for the score. Lake Mary takes a 7-0 lead. It was 10-0 Lake Mary when Dr. Phillips would strike. Stanley Anderson Lofton wants it all. He finds Mikkel Calixt, the future FAU Owl. Well, he's soaring. Looks like a track star. Nobody catches him. Missed extra point, made it 10-6. Second half now. Same score out of the Wildcat. This time DP strikes with Amari Major in for the big-time touchdown. Dr. Phillips takes their first lead of the game, 13-10. But back come the Rams. This time it is senior running back Parker Perales cutting, finding a hole. He wins the race to the pylon. Lake Mary back in front. Perales not done. This time he shows some power. Lake Mary gets the cushion they need. They are on to their first ever state title game appearance. 24-13 the final score. Here is Zach Maskovich up in Ram Nation.
There's a sign over on the stands here at Lake Mary that read, "Tonight we make history," and the Rams did just that. Dr. Phillips put up a very good fight in this state semifinal game, but it was the Rams that did enough when it counted the most, and they will now have a chance to win the program's first ever football state championship, and you can tell that means a whole lot to these players and coaches.
It's surreal. It's hard to talk about it. You know, it hasn't really sunk in yet. We just always are thinking about the next week, the next game, and now, wow, we're at the end. You know, we finally made it to the end of the season where we're going to find out state champs or not, and just so excited.
We've been talking all week. To win states is different. I mean, when you lose in the playoffs, you're only remembered for about 2 years out of the school, but you win states and you're going to have a banner set up for you. It's a big-time history moment for us, and we can't wait.
Dr. Phillips was able to hand Lake Mary a loss in the regular season, but in the playoffs, the Rams extract their revenge. But absolutely nothing for Dr. Phillips to hang their head about. Rodney Wells and company, a very strong year. They finished 12-2 on the season. Up next for Lake Mary, they're heading to Miami in the state championship game. At Lake Mary High School, Zach Maskovich, WESH 2 Sports.
All right, 6A Osceola pulled off the big upset last week. Tonight they're on the road in Gainesville up against Buchholz. Tavion Swint signed with UCF earlier today, scored the first touchdown of the night. Hey, this was a 31-7 Osceola lead at one point. Buchholz battled back, but it feels like 98. Cowboys with a K ride a 9-game win streak all the way to Miami, looking for their first state championship since 1998. In 4A, Jones was making a 4th straight state semifinal appearance, but this is where their season has ended each of the last 3 seasons. Tonight, the 13-0 undefeated Fighting Tigers hosting a Naples team that came to Orlando ready to run the football. I'll show you why. Elijah Williams had his guys fired up from the jump. After the opening kickoff, it took one play. This is the first play from scrimmage. Jaquale Smith cuts it back, rips off a 50-yard touchdown. Fighting Tigers up 6-0 after the PAT was no good. Naples responded with a nearly 10-minute scoring drive. Every play on the ground, including that one there. Touchdown Sean Simeon from the 1-yard line. Eagles take a 7-6 lead at the half. Third quarterback comes Jones. Darian Coleman, so shifty. Number 4. Does it all, stays in bounds, but then gets shoved out right at the 5. Didn't matter because the next play, Larry Miles out of the Wildcat formation puts Jones in front 12-7. Fighting Tigers defense does the rest. 18-7 final score. Jones is back in the state championship game for the first time since 2019. They are one win away from their first ever state title. Out in Melbourne, O'Galley was making their first ever appearance in the state semifinals tonight, hosting Miami Northwestern. The Doors were unbeaten at home this season, but hadn't seen anything like what former NFL quarterback Teddy Bridgewater brought with his alma mater as the Bulls came to the Space Coast tonight. Commodores fired up for their final game at the Ship in 2024, hoping they get to play for a Ship, but yeah, Teddy Bridgewater's football savvy, much like his fashion sense. How about that cool jacket on this one? All right, Northwestern, back to the football. Driving in the first quarter, handoff to Elijah Hardy. He bulldozes his way in for the touchdown. Bulls up 7-0 early. They got it done through the ground, through the air, pretty much any way they wanted tonight. Leon Strouder, nice throw. Great catch there from Calvin Russell Jr. 13-0 after a missed PAT. But not much went the Doors' way tonight. Joseph Allen keeps it, runs it right into a brick wall. Commodores fought to the end, but Northwestern just too tough to bring down tonight. Teddy Bridgewater and the Bulls headed to the state championship game. O'Galley's historic season ends on a sour note, 40-0, the final score.
Obviously, we didn't play our best game, but at the end of the day, we're playing a great football team. If you make mistakes as a football team, you're probably going to come out and lose the end. But I'm extremely proud of our guys. We had a great season. Those guys have fought from day one since they've been here. They're a great group of kids, and 99% of them are going to go play college football. Their legacy here is stamped at O'Galley. I'm extremely proud of them and love them to death.
2A state semifinals. Cocoa on the road to face a really tough Cardinal Mooney team, but the Tigers answered the bell again. Jumped out to a 14-0 lead in the first quarter after a couple of Brady Hart to Javen Boggs touchdowns. What a season for Ryan Schneider and company. Played one of the toughest schedules in the country. For this, they hang on. Will play for a third straight state championship. All right, still to come on this state semifinal Friday. We're talking a little college ball. UCF's coaching search seems to be nearing an end. Plus, we'll take a look at this conference championship weekend. But speaking of champions, Central Florida, 4 shots at bringing home a title. There are the 4 teams that will compete for a state championship next week. Lake Mary in 7A, Osceola in 6A, Jones in 4A, and Cocoa in 2A, going for the three-peats. Whew, we're back in less than 3 minutes.
Custom weather alerts on the WESH 2 app. Download it today.
Welcome back. Let's talk college football to UCF, where the search for a new head football coach is nearing an end. John Bryce is a college football insider. Few are more plugged in on a national level when it comes to coaching searches. I caught up with him today. He says the search is down to 2 names. One candidate quite familiar to UCF fans, and the other, well, he was coaching tonight.
As we sit, on Friday afternoon, what are you hearing?
Barry Odom continues to be a name that populates very highly, both with the UCF job and the Purdue job. Then Scott Frost, the obvious former record-setting head coach at Central Florida. It's been reported, but we can confirm he did Zoom with Terry Mohajir earlier this week about the UCF opening. They've had more than one talk about the opening, but those are the 2 names right now.
My deep dive conversation with John over on Facebook. Odom and UNLV at Boise State tonight in the Mountain West Conference title game. They fall 21-7. And how about the Army Black Knights? First ever AAC title, 35-14 over Tulane. Busy day of college football tomorrow. There's your Power 4 conference championship games. Plenty to sort out still as we head towards that 12-team playoff. Thanks for hanging out with us on Friday Night Hits. We'll see you next time as 4 more teams play for a state title. Have a great weekend, everybody.